Howdy. A&M versus LSU, Aggies versus Tigers, Kyle Fields this Saturday. This is your Aggie Central podcast.
Going to throw here to Parker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, 5. He is almost. He got a touchdown! He got.
Left center field. It could be. It is a home
Oh, doctor!
Howdy, damn it. Welcome to the Aggie Central podcast. I'm your host. Just call me Central, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Before we start this preview, though, I just want to thank you all for hanging in there with me this season. It's been a rough one, but I've appreciated being with you guys each and every week, hanging through this thick and thin. But that doesn't mean, just because the season's over and this is your last preview, that there won't be more content in the off season. More sports are coming up. Baseball is coming up. Basketball is coming up. A lot of different things. I'll be covering those and more. So like and subscribe. And a little hint, I'll be bringing you more than just some sports. So got some things working. Now again, the season did not go like we expected, but there is one more game left. One more. And it only takes one to kind of cut down that bitterness that you're tasting in your mouth right now. So what should you expect from the Bayou boys? Well, let's start off with some stats. All right, so offense, LSU versus A&M. LSU 34th in total offense, hanging in there 34th with the rush as well. They're passing too shabby at 50th. We'd pretty much kill for any of those numbers. Looking at ours, 96th in total offense, 94th in rush, 74th in pass. Yeah, we'd take any of those, wouldn't we? LSU doing 437 yards per game. 4.8 yards per carry on the rush, 7.6 per pass attempt. We're pretty anemic in pass, 6.6. Anything below 7 is just rancid, just absolutely terrible. Rush doesn't seem that bad, 4.5, right? I mean, that's what a chain's been doing most of the season, kind of carrying this team, right? 355 yards per game, just didn't quite getting it done. It just doesn't look good. It's like if you were looking at the people who entered an ass-kicking contest, and then you were scrolling through the entries, and you looked down and you saw a one-legged man. Yeah, on paper that just doesn't look real good. So you wouldn't be betting on that, would you? Yeah. Same thing with these numbers here. On paper, it just doesn't look good. It really doesn't. I mean, you could tell me this guy could jump as high and as fast as all of them. I just don't think I'd be buying it still. On D, LSU's quite good. 34th in total defense to our 50th. Rush, 44th to our 123rd. Now, pass, we're hanging in there, though. 40th, we're second. Second in the nation in pass. So that is our strength. Going to factor into our keys to the game and ways to win. Look at the yards that we're doing here. So on pass, we're only allowing 5.8 yards per attempt to their 6.9. Now 6.9 is a good number for them. Anything under 7's proficient, very, very good. 7's usually what a team is trying to do, and so if they're holding their teams under 7, that means that their teams aren't moving the ball real well that way. 5.8 is just a stellar number. But you see what we're doing in rush. We're allowing 4.7 yards per carry to their 3.8. So they're really holding that down. Now, we're only giving up 365 yards per game, and they're doing 340, so not a big difference there. But if we kind of go back there for a second, right, again, looking at those rush yards, 123rd, and it's good enough with a second in passing to get us 50th total defense. I didn't think I would have thought we would be 50th, right? That seems like that's pretty good, but context is more. You look at third down conversion rates, and we're not good there. And because the the rush that we're allowing. Again, look at it, 4.7 yards per carry. They're averaging over 9 yards. Our opponents are per 2 carries. So not always, but it's taking a lot for us to actually get off the field. So we really need to focus in on that this go around. It's going to be a tall task. So looking at these numbers, the thing of it is, if we could get a sponsor from Pampers or Depends or something like that, we might be able to stop the runs. Yeah, but I digress. Who do you need to know? Who do you need to know? So there's quite a few folks that you need to know. The first one is Daniels, quarterback. He's a transfer from Arizona State, so he's a 4th or 5th year guy for them. They picked up a nice one here. This guy's doing almost 70% completion on the year. He's got 2,300 plus yards, 15 TDs, 2 INTs, and he's averaging 7.6 per catch. If that wasn't enough, this guy's got good legs too. So he's got 740 yards on the year. He's the leading rusher with 4.6 yards per tote. He's got 11 more on the ground, 11 more touchdowns on the ground. So this guy's a machine. He really is good. And of course, that's going to factor into keys to winning this game. And you know what that's going to mean. We've talked about it. We've tried to coax our way into getting the coaches to do this, but I guess things are out of our control in some ways. So we can't quite get what we want. Sure, there's probably some other things going on in this regard, right? So who else? Josh Williams, 481 yards this year, 5.2 yards per tote, and he's got 6 TDs. Real scrappy kind of guy. Daniel's leading the way, so this guy is really kind of their complement. However, they do have 3 other guys with over 200 yards rushing. So this is a really, really proficient team. Really proficient team, top to bottom. First to 4th string at this point, it looks like in the backfield. Daniels is a runner, and then kind of looking over it and getting into the wide receiver room, you got Neighbors, and he's our leading receiver, 657 yards, averaging nearly 13 per catch. He may not be the most talented guy though. That may be Butte or Booty. I'm not sure how you gonna pronounce that, but this guy, he's got 388 yards as well, 10.2 per catch, and look at this. So he may be the more talented guy. I think he's a little bit young. We'll see what's going to end up happening, but you're going to have to be looking out on all ends of the field here, because there's a couple other guys too they've got that are going to be on the outsides and running slots and everything else. Not to mention tight end that are quite dangerous, very, very dangerous. So all the way from running back to quarterback to wide receivers, it's a good team, very good team overall. On the defensive side of the ball, really just kind of tell a story with this guy right here. You should know who this guy is, because this is the guy that burned the A&M cap. Harold Perkins. So we were recruiting this guy. He committed to us, was committed for about 3 weeks, played a lot of games with his recruitment, decommitted. It's probably always an LSU lean in the first place. Not sure what put him over the edge there, but you can use your imagination. He's a big name to know, though. Regardless of the games played, this guy can play football. He is talented beyond measure. We really missed out on one not getting this guy. Would be nice to have him. We could really use that linebacker. So interesting little tidbit there, because he's not leading the team. He is close though. LSU has 3 linebackers leading the way in tackling. 4th leading tackler is Ojulari, who's a defensive end. That's real interesting if you look over and look to see what A&M's got going on with this. And I'm gonna get into this for just a little bit here, because this is some context to know. So 5 of the top 7 tacklers for LSU are front 7 guys. They're either linebacker or defensive linemen. A&M, 4 of the top 7 tacklers are DBs. Okay, yeah. So think about it like this. Let's say you're trying to figure out between those 2 situations which one you want to be in. If it's not already clear enough, let's think about it like this. Let's say you had 2 towns to choose from that you were going to live in, and they just kind of started off by trying to entice you by naming the restaurants. Okay, so let's say 4 of the top 7 restaurants in my hometown were Taco Bell, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, and Texas Burger. And the other three decent ones were Texas Roadhouse, Longhorn Steakhouse, and Christopher's. Okay, so that's option number one. Option number two, there's our Saltgrass, Capitol Grill, Texas Roadhouse, Texas Land and Cattle, Hofbrau, and then two remaining, are Whataburger and Jack in the Box. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? You want the one where the linebackers are and defensive line are making all the tackles, or the DBs? You don't have to answer that question. Okay, it's rhetorical. Not that you can do it in this platform. Anyways, you can put it in the comments if you want, by all means. But I'm pretty sure I know what you're gonna say. Okay, we'd rather have the Capitol Grill, Saltgrass, all the steak and potatoes, right? We like meat and potatoes. Okay, we don't want the little frilly sides. I sure don't want some sort of bean burrito. That that doesn't do it for me, right? So yeah, McDouble. You can't eat that every day. That's not good for you. It's got its place though. So which town would you live in? Yeah, you like to live with front seven or making your tackles for you. So that's kind of where we're at with this right now. That's where the frustrating parts have come. We've seen little things like this rear its head all year, these little intricate stats and the things that are going on. So let's talk about the keys of the game. My keys to the game. Tell me what yours are. Tell me if I got you spot on here. I don't know. I might have missed something too, but there's always a few different angles that you can think about. And my thing is this right now. This last game, 3 sheets to the win. Put it all out there, mix it up, try something new. You ain't got nothing to lose, right? Got nothing to lose. So 7 in the box, all times. At all times, 7 in the box. Never less. Ever. And put Cooper in as a spy. You heard me talking about Daniels, right? So you know. And if you watched LSU, you know. Do our coaches know? Because this guy's dangerous. He can throw the ball. It's not a huge weapon, but he's got 70% passing, probably because they run the ball so well and he's such a huge threat and he can use his legs. Got to spy this guy. I think Cooper's the best person to do that. I don't want to wait till after the first quarter to see Cooper come in. I really don't. Pretty sure that's what happened this last game. I'd rather not see it again. Okay. Second key, scheme easy throws, or just make it where it's easy protection. I really think we could add a tight end or two. Widen that box. You saw the play if you watched one of the other videos that I posted, where you've got Donovan Green just absolutely owning a guy on his block. It's hard to get a sack when you can't get around the end. And not to mention, Zune needs a little bit of help. He's just been a little bit outmanned. He's good, he's working, but he could use a little extra help. Am I right? Okay. Now that'll come with a couple drawbacks, and I ought to mention those real quick before we do, because we've had some issues with people coming up the middle though too. So it's going to be on Dewberry, and he got worked a couple times. He's a young guy though, so it's understandable. Wyckoff struggled, even Layden's struggled, and even on the right side, Fatheree has. So it would do us well to perhaps have a running back ready to pick up the middle of the field with 2 tight ends on either side. What are we looking at there? About 7 on the line. Quarterback, running back, 8, 9. That puts us 2 wide receivers. What are they going to do at that point? We're probably going to get some one-on-one matchups that way. We could send some tight ends out. I think we'd run the ball a lot better that way too. I really do. And we saw this on a lot of the video that I put up. If you followed me on Twitter, I put a lot of the stuff out there to show that when we had at least a tight end on the line, not necessarily set back, but sometimes or offset, we ran the ball quite well. One play in particular, we brought Preston in and worked him down towards the line, kind of like as a tight end, and we did some really good things. I understand it's against UMass, but still, a lot of teams, and you'll hear a lot of people say it, you load the box with eight guys, and it's hard to run the ball no matter who you are. But of course, we don't settle for that. I think we ought to be able to run the ball just about on anybody, especially that type of team. So that's the second key. Third key, tackle. Don't turn over the ball. I know it's a double-edged key, but think they kind of go, a little bit hand in hand. One's offense, one's defense, though. But yeah, we've not been tackling very well. We're going to have to do that much better. Much better. The yards after carry killing us. We're throwing our shoulders around. We're not getting square. We're running up on the ball. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, 7 in the box at all time. We need to scheme some easy throws, get some easy protection. One of the ways we could do the easy throws, and I showed a lot of this actually on Twitter as well. You need to get over there. I put up some good content over there, kind of some film breakdown. And one of the things that we showed on Noah Thomas's touchdown was that he basically ran a pick route, him and Moose, and the DB was 10 yards offset, so he had a 10-yard cushion. Well, DB's got to decide, is he going to come down low underneath or go on top, right? And yeah, he had to go on top. So set a natural pick. He was wide open. Connor made a decent throw. It's hard to throw that day, so any throw in the area was going to be good. Noah did his job. Takes it for a touchdown. Moose is blocking all the way down the field, being a dude. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see when we can do this with some of those kinds of things. Of course, the matchup's going to be much more difficult. LSU probably going to be able to play a little bit more man. It's hard to do pick routes like that with man, but we still have some talented guys. We do. Wouldn't mind seeing Evan Stewart out there. Heard he's looking good, looking to be back. A chain, hopefully looking to be back. I see Evan Stewart, Moose out there, Noah Thomas perhaps, working a little bit of Donovan Green as well. I think we ought to be able to pull out all the stops this game and have an inspired team. Okay, so prediction time. On paper, you saw one-legged man. What do you think? What's the right prediction for that for that competition? I feeling like the right prediction is 24-6. I hate it. Man, I hate these kind of predictions. But 24-6 sounds reasonable. LSU's got a pretty good defense. Our offense has been really anemic. I don't really have a great reason to think something's getting ready to change with that. So I think we're good enough for minimum 2 field goals. I definitely think we can get more than that. What is it going to take for us to actually get the win? It's going to take, use a cliche word at this point, it's going to take some execution. Okay, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take execution. What it's going to look like is playing really well, not letting these stunts get to us, not letting the rest of these pressures and one-on-ones getting beat. We can get through those kinds of things. We can really make some strides. Committing. If we're going to commit, I just don't believe we're going to commit, but if we commit to stopping the run, we let our guys work in the secondary, we'll make some things happen. We can. And if that happens, maybe we get a couple turnovers, all bets are off. We can win this game. I think we're going to come out inspired. I think we're going to come out playing as best we can. I think Jimbo still got this team, and I think they'll show it again. Last game at Calfield for the year. Expect a good game. Expect a good game. Hope our coaches put our players in the right spot, and if they do, we'll see what happens. All right, so we'll see you for the post-game reaction. Until then, thanks and gig 'em.